Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Today I'm working on the Legit Kit month 3, week 12. Time is flying by, so let's get busy and we'll get this one done. So you grab your paper scissors and you're going to go ahead and trim these out. It'll make your life so much simpler along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off the top as well. So I'm going to take and go ahead and fold these. So I'll move that section out of the way. This one here, as you can see, D2A, and that's what we're working on. We're going to be joining the D2A to the D2B. There was a typo here, and it missed the B section. So that happens from time to time. So this is what we're going to join together. So I already know this has to join here at this peak. When we join these, we're going to pin in place at these intersections. That's really important on this block. And all of these right here, you're going to see lines coming together. We're going to be sewing on this one when it comes time to join this block. So let's get busy and we'll watch the magic happen. So my first color is Duckling. DK is how it's marked. We've got our fabric. We want to make sure we have our codes right. Everything is coded. So this is DK here. Then we've got our cutting guide. So we're going to look for D2A. And we've got that. It's telling me I need to cut it down in this corner. So I'll slide that over out of the way. We'll shake this out. And this will fit nicely up in this corner. I like to keep my colors when I'm done because you never know when you're going to need just a little snippet. So it'll stay with the colors for the duration of the project. So we're going to pin in place. You don't want anything to slip while you're working with getting that first piece sewn in. And I'm going to be cutting up in here. So this time I'm going to go ahead and do just 3 pins. Normally I would only do 2, but I'll be shifting a lot here. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to go the extra 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And I'm just laying my hand there for the stability of it. Look at how funny that cut is. But somewhere I may end up needing a little snippet. The next color is QY, and that's papaya. That's really, really pretty. So it's really, really helpful that you're always matching your codes with your cuts. QY, QY, and then match it again with your cutting guide. I'm going to use QY again for this. So I'm going to go ahead and mark off. I'm going to use it here, and I'm going to use it on this piece. So while I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and cut that as well. Just so efficiently. So I'm going to slide this over because I know I only need this little sliver. So you just lay it the way that you would like. And right in there is where it's going to lay. So I'm going to fold it up. And that's just going to give me a little temporary seam. That way when I cut, I can pull that back, finger press it again, and just cut it in. So I know this one, I will slide out of the way, bring this little piece in. So when I lay this down, I want to make sure that I am covered up here. So it's really important that you wiggle this in place and bring it up. So we'll slide it over. It's a wee little piece here, so you want to make sure that you've got it started right so it doesn't buckle on you. So I'll bring this over and line it up. And just stitch this baby in. They've taken so much of the thinking and the hard work out of this. It's mind-blowing to me how easy It's kind of like putting a puzzle together. And then you just flip it over and make sure that you've got it covered, and I do. So I'm going to slide this out of the way because I know I need that color, and we're going to press this in. We'll trim this one, and then we'll go to the next piece. So line it up. My rotary cutter's under here hiding. We're going to slide that out. I'm going to turn it this way and repeat. Make sure that you do not slip when you're cutting. If you put your fingers back here, it's going to help keep your ruler from sliding. Bring your fingers back and just gently bring it in. And you'll see how nice that lines up. And repeat right here. And look how nice that block came in. This here little tidbit, when we join these two, you won't even see that. So let me slide that down here. We'll clean up all the scraps. And we'll get the next piece put together. So I know I need papaya. So that's going to be this piece right here. My cutting guide, we need to mark these off because now they will be done. We won't need those again. So I'll lay that over here. And we're going to slide papaya in and cut this out. Just going to fold it over, and you're going to always do the extra 1/4 of an inch. We'll file this one back in just a second. That's going to be my piece 2. So the next color I'm looking for is SB. So while I'm over here putting my papaya away, I'll grab that SB, and it's the school bus color. And as you can see, I've got 2 cuts. I've got the main cut that came with it, then I've got the other cut. These are the same. And I used this when I did the car. So there is ample fabric. So when they tell you you have the colors and you have the fabric, your 1482, 1482. SB matches, you're matching your color guide, your fabric matches. Everything looks good. So you're going to sit it in, slide it back. I'm not even going to pin this one because it's little. And I'm just going to fold this over. And I'm going to come down here and just put a little bit of weight on your fingers. No rhyme or reason, no fancy cut there. Then these will go back into the file. So now I'm going to lay this down just like this. Wiggle it in. I'm going to fold it back. And as you can see, I had to fussy cut. So I want to straighten that up. So easiest way to do it, you're at a 1/4 ruler and you move things out of your way. We're going to lay this down on its belly. And this is the piece that I had pre-cut. So we want to make sure that we're laying this in place. So when this folds back, it's going to cover. You want it to cover its block in its entirety, but you want to make sure that you're into that seam allowance. Slide it in. Make sure you did not wiggle. Line it up. And in she goes. Snip it off. Make sure that you are catching your threads in the beginning and at the end. You don't want to have to mess with those later. Then you're just going to finger press this down. You can see it covered everything. and I've said it a million times probably already, if you're doing legit kits on a regular basis, save all of your file folders, because all of the pieces are labeled the same. Each time they come out, you'll have your codes, and you'll be able to refile them into the same folder if those colors are there. So there's no need to just trash what you've already done. Just keep building onto it. SX is sunny. And this is the only time we're going to use this little piece, but we want to make sure that we have the right color. SX, SX, SX. Make sure that B2B is here, and it is. We're going to mark it off, and we're going to X it out. So this is the piece. So we're going to have to watch how we lay it. I'm going to take the label off for now. And I want to make sure that when I lay this in, that I'm going to be able to cover this whole block. So I want to wiggle it down just a smidge. And as you can see, that's going to cover. So all you need to do is pinch it in with your fingers, slide out of your way, anything that's over to your rights, and sew this one in. They give you very, very generous amounts. Trim your threads. I'm going to fold this back. We're going to press it, and then when we trim it out, I'll put this tag back on this color. I'm sure somewhere along the line, as I'm working legit kits projects, this color will come up again. It's really pretty. So we'll flip it over. I know I need that, so I'm just going to tag it. We're going to line up here and just trim it in. Move this out of the way. Line up. Move your fingers. Line up. And we'll get all those little slivers out of the way in a moment. Now that's there and it's out of my way. We'll refile these because for right now I'm done with them. So I'm looking for my SX. And when I say I'm filing, I use a filing system. And they're on the little hangers, and the fabric just gets dropped inside with the cutting guides. And I have a nice size box that I just store everything in, and it's in alphabetical order, and it just streamlines the process so you don't have to hunt and peck and try to find your colors. Everything is there and you're organized. And organization is definitely one of the key factors that you need to be with legit kits. Everything will come together amazing if you are. So now, as you can see, we're going to be joining these together just like this. As you can see, this little piece here is going to disappear in a moment. Got this little string. I don't want it to become a problem. And it looks wonky when you first start to join these, but trust the process. You're going to take and stick a pin. I can say stick a pin in it. You're going to stick a pin right here, and it's going to come through. You're going to find this corner, and you're going to stick a pin in that one. And if you've got them lined up in the beginning, and it lines up at the end, everything will be just fine. I know this needs to nest together, and I know things seem to shift sometimes, so I'm just going to clip it. I want to make sure before I sew one stitch that this is going to line up, so I'm just going to blindly stick the pin through it. As you can see, it lines up perfectly. So now we'll get these sewed in. Line up and stay true to this gray line. So right next to it, and leave yourself that 1/4 inch. If you sew on that real thin black line and you sew slow, nothing's going to shift on you. So we've got this. I'm going to snip these little dog ears off up here because we don't need them. And it's just the way that it lays out. We're going to finger press it back, and you're going to see how everything lined up. So we're going to stop for a second, pull all of the paper out. And somewhere at the intersection, sometimes you might need to get your little tweezers if it doesn't break out and come off. Not happy with that right there, so I'll get my tweezers. It just ensures that all of that seam is cleaned up. And where these intersections are, you don't want that in there. Fold this puppy down and do the same process. I love the way Legit Kit uses the newsprint. It's a game changer when you're sewing in between different kinds of projects and you're switching between copy paper or Staples paper back to this. It's just mind-blowing, the difference. So we're going to open this seam, and that'll be the last block for this month. And just heat it up and go really slow. There's no rush in getting this seam flat because you've got this tiny little bit here that has a little bit of bulk. You want to make sure that you're getting that nice and tidy. You're going to switch your block and come in on this end. And if you do this on every time that you have to join a block, because there's going to be a little bulk somewhere, you'll get it nice and flat. Use your acorn pen, and that's just going to make it lay even flatter. Slide this back, flip it over, and look at how nice this puppy came out. Everything is lined up amazing. I love the way that they've got everything marked. As you can see right here, that seam is perfect. It came together, all these colors. Isn't that amazing? So with all of that being said, we'll wrap up month 3, and I'll see you back again in month 4. Take care. God bless, and thanks for joining us.